Hello everybody, welcome back to Ready, Set, Enjoy. We're here in my office today because we've got a little something special on the desk. I've talked about this in a previous video and I've been waiting for this for quite a long time. This is my Founders Edition Hacksmith Smith Blade Pro 21 in 1. That's a mouthful, but it is the multi-tool that raised millions of dollars on Kickstarter. It's Canadian designed and manufactured just a few hours away from me in Cambridge, Ontario, and I'm pretty excited about it. So this is potentially going to probably not fully replace, but in some cases will be used instead of my Leatherman for multi-tool purposes. Now, it is not a pliers-based multi-tool. It is a knife-based multi-tool, but it does have some pretty neat stuff. So let's get it unboxed, and I will give you my first impressions. All right, so we just got the box open. It comes with a packing slip to tell you what's inside and a couple of Hacksmith stickers, some packing peanuts. It comes with a, what is this? Oh, I believe it's a sample of another product. Their drill bit bandolier. I guess it's for holding drill bits on your drill. I think I heard about this in the Discord. Then it also comes with some extra, I believe these are for Canada specifically. They are Robertson bits, square head bits for the Smith blade. And then we've got two boxes inside. And that's it. So we've got the Smith Blade Pro and the Smith Blade Lite. Now the Founders Edition, which was a tier that you could back on Kickstarter, gets you a free Smith Blade Lite. Now obviously I won't need this because I have the Pro, so I think this is going to be maybe a Father's Day present for my dad, something like that. So we're going to put the Lite aside and we're going to focus on the Pro. So it's got the signature of the Hacksmith on it, and it's got Smith Blade Pro Founders Edition 21 in 1 on the side there. Let's get this bag open and see what we've got. I am a little bit excited to find out what number I got. The Founders Edition knives, there's only 999 of them because the Hacksmith himself got number 1. So they are serial numbered, and they they apparently had some issues with the first couple hundred knives, so they had to scrap some, but I'm excited to find out which one I got. So it looks like it opens this way. Oh, it's a little magnetic opening. Da 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 da. So we've got a build card, past QC. So it says the options that I chose. So no anodization, no blade modification, tritium blue, laser engraved yes with my initials, box signature yes. So those are the options. And then there is the deep carry pocket clip, which I believe, I'm not sure if that was included in the Founders Edition or if I maybe paid for it, but I did want the deep carry pocket clip. And then we have the, I believe this is the flag, the bit flag. Oh, it's in there, nice and snug. Yes, so this is the bit flag. It is a Torx bit with a 3D printed flag on it that will bend to the exact right torque of the main pivot of the blade, so you can disassemble and reassemble your knife with the correct amount of torque, which I think is pretty darn cool. There was a whole video on their channel about this. Then we get the actual tool itself. Let's see what number I got. I got number 465. It's a little bit hard to see, but it's right there, number 465. So heck yeah, that's pretty cool. And then my initials engraved right there. That was an option for the founders. And wow, okay, let's go through the rest of the box first. So in the bottom is a bit holder, and my understanding is, yes, I forgot about this. So they had a mistake where one of the bits is the wrong size to fit in the tool or something like that. So there's a QR code to get a replacement one, because they are 4mm bits. So I guess, I don't know, there's tolerances. But anyways, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through all of the tools that they have listed on the back here, and we're gonna find them on the device itself, and I'll give you my first impressions. Okay, so let's go through. I mean, the first thing I feel that I need to do is the opening mechanism, because that's kind of the thing that I think everybody was kind of obsessed with. Ooh, that is really nice. Wow, I actually was not expecting that to be quite so smooth. Wow. Oh my goodness, that's actually really nice. I thought it was going to be harder to open, but it's actually not that difficult. That's so cool. Wow. So let's get into it. So it's a titanium frame lock. So you, I guess from this side, you push out on the frame lock to unlock the blade. I'm doing this unsafely with my fingers in the way, but it's got detents. So every 15 degrees, it will detent, and you can use it almost like a speed square, which I think is pretty cool. So every 15 degrees until it shuts. And then, yeah, there's, I guess that last detent is what's holding the blade in. So it does require a fair amount of effort to get it out. There is a fingernail slot that you can use to grab it if you want to do it two-handed, or of course the flipper tab on the back to flip it open this way, which is, oh my goodness, so satisfying. Wow. Okay, so M390 blade. Let's just go through the list as it is on the box. So first of all, grade 5 titanium handle. Yes, it is a grade. I mean, I don't know the difference in titanium grades, but it is a titanium handle. It is very light. Like if I compare it to my TI Lookout, so this has titanium handle scales as well, but it's a fixed blade. This is heavier, and it's a fair bit shorter when it's open. The Lookout, the Big Idea Design Lookout is heavier, for sure, like noticeably heavier. So that's quite something. Yeah, M390 blade. It is. It's not the sharpest blade that I've ever felt, you know, from a factory, but it's pretty sharp. Let's see if we can cut the build card. Yeah, that's like, I would give that 8.5 out of 10 in terms of sharpness out of the box. Let's see if it can shave some arm hair. Yeah, it can shave arm hair, so maybe a 8.5 or a 9 out of 10 on sharpness from the factory. So the next thing that they list on the box is the 15-degree protractor. We've already been through that. So there's your 90 degrees, and there's a detent to keep it there. Next on the list is nail file. So on the back of the blade, we'll see if this can properly get a good view of what I'm talking about. So on the back edge, the spine of the blade, there is I got the machined version. I believe that there's two different versions of this file. There's a machine version and like a stippled version. So I got the machine version, which I think is nice. So that is supposedly a nail file. Sure, cool, fine. The next ones are metric and imperial ruler. I think it's maybe a little bit silly that those are two separate tools on the box, but sure. So where are the... Oh, okay, so it's centimeters on this side. There we go. So it's centimeters on that side. And then it is inches on this side. However, there's no numbers inscribed on the imperial side. There's millimeters inscribed on the metric side, but not on the imperial side. The next on the list is the tweezers. So if you look right next to the pocket clip, there's a little indent here where you can grab the end of the tweezers and they pop right out. This is probably not going to be, there we go, tweezers. So yeah, fairly, familiar if you've used something like a Swiss Army knife before. It's not too dissimilar from those, and it slides back into a slot on the side of the handle scales. Again, not something I'm going to use all the time, but just the other day I had to help my wife with a splinter, so good to have, I guess. Wire strippers. This one I'm actually pretty excited for. So on the handle scales there are these detents, or I guess they're not detents, they're divots, call them. So when you have the blade coming down, you can put different gauges of wire in those different size divots, and then you can use the blade and twist the wire to strip the insulation off of small gauge wire, which is kind of neat. This is something I do a lot, especially when I'm working on the trailer wiring, stuff like that. So that was something I was pretty interested in. Reversible belt clip. So this is the belt clip that comes pre-installed. Like I said, I got the deep carry one, so I'll be installing that at some point. But yeah, so you can install it on this side, or presumably, actually, oh, I see. They don't mean reversible as in ambidextrous. They mean reversible as in tip up or tip down. So you could install it over here if you wanted to do tip down. Right now it's tip up, which is what you want, because when you pull it out of your pocket, you want to be able to deploy it easily. So that makes sense. Next up are the bits. So numbers 0 through 2 Phillips bits. So let's look at those. They are embedded in the handle scales, and there's this really fun kind of unique spring mechanism in the middle, and I've never done this before, so let's see if I mess it up or not. But you kind of slide the bit from this direction. Oh, it's in there pretty tight. There we go. You kind of have to use your fingernail a little bit. So you push the bit this way, oh, and then it pops right out. So there's a spring mechanism in there, which is a little bit difficult to see, but it's kind of like a folded, or I don't know, springy piece of titanium that holds the bit towards the end, and then I believe there's a magnet in the end that kind of stops the bit from moving that way. But as soon as you move it this way, it will get released from the hexagonal channel and then come right out. So let me try doing that not on camera to see how easy it is. Oh yeah, not too bad. I'm gonna have to get used to that motion, but yeah, I mean, they kind of fall out once you push them, so I don't know, maybe I just need to get used to it, but yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I think I'll get used to that pretty easily, being able to catch them before they kind of fall out, and then they just slide back into their little slot. So that's pretty neat. And then so it's Phillips, 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 flathead, flathead, a sim tool, which I guess is this one. So oh no, this is the pen. Where's the sim tool? Oh, this one's the sim tool. I'm learning this as we go. So this, I believe, is the sim tool slash sewing awl. So we'll see if this gets the right focus in any way, shape, or form. So it's a sim tool, and it does have a hole in the side of it, so you can put some thread through it, so you could theoretically use it for sewing. That's neat. Don't know if that's one I'm going to keep on here, but we'll see. And then pen. So one of the bits is actually a pen tip. So that's neat. And all of these bits go into the end near the pocket clip. So let's check about writing here. Yeah, I mean, it writes. So there's a pen. That's kind of cool. And then all of the bits can also be put into this 90-degree bit holder as well if you need more torque on what you're working on. So that's kind of cool. Probably wouldn't want to write with the pen that way, but what are you going to do? So that's all the tools in the side scale. Next up is pry bar slash bottle opener slash staple puller. So they have that as 3 different tools in the list, but it's essentially this end piece which has kind of a titanium bit that comes out from the edge. It's maybe almost half an inch long, I would say. And then there's a corresponding lip on the other side. So theoretically, you should be able to pop a lid off of a bottle like that. And then I guess because it has this notch, you could use it to pry staples. We'll have to try that out. Pry bar. I own like an EDC pry bar, but I never carry it because I don't use it enough to justify carrying it all the time. So that means, yeah, maybe having one on the tool will mean that I can use a pry bar sometimes. I'm into it. All right, next is the glow-in-the-dark marker. So it's right here. You're not gonna be able to see it. Let's maybe turn off the lights. I still have the glow of my computer monitor. Here, let's turn that off too. Ooh, there you go. Blue tritium, so that's like a radiation. Oh, my monitor went into power saving mode. So that's like a blue tritium radiation powered glow thingy. So supposedly that'll last a long time. It'll glow for years and years and years, and you don't need to like sit it under a light to charge it, which is neat. Next is the fire striker. So on the back edge of the knife there is, I guess, what's essentially a ferro rod. Is there anything I can use to potentially strike it? I don't know if anything. Maybe the flathead bit would be sharp enough to strike it. I can't seem to get a spark off it, but that's maybe because I'm using a bit. So I'll try that out some other time. I mean, it's not proud of the scales. Like, it's actually recessed into the scales a little bit. And so I feel like you're going to have trouble striking that. I don't know. This is one that I'm maybe a little bit more skeptical of. I'm going on a winter wilderness survival course this weekend, so I'll try it out. I have a proper ferro rod, but we'll try it out and see if that's something that works. I don't know. And then the next two are again the same implement, but for 2 different uses. So on the end here there is what they call a tungsten metal scribe and emergency glass breaker. So it's just a very sharp, pointed, very hard piece of metal that you can use to scrape things that aren't generally scrapable and break glass. So maybe in a future video. I do have some spare glass, like an old shed window at the cottage, so maybe I'll test out the glass breaking. And I don't really have a need for a metal scribe, but I'm going to try out the glass breaker because that's kind of cool. And then next up is the bubble level. So right here in the scale next to the frame lock is a bubble level. That's kind of neat for, you know, hanging pictures and stuff. 90-degree bit driver, so I already showed you that. You can either drive the bits from the end, or you can drive the bits 90 degrees on the side. And then extended ruler on blade. Okay, I don't really think that that's a separate tool. Oh, and it's only on one side. It's only on the metric side of the blade. You can maybe see some markings along there, but there's none on the imperial side. So, I mean, is it actually 21 tools? Maybe, you know, for marketing purposes, I totally understand describing all the things that it can do. Is it actually 21 different tools? No, but, you know, I think the ones that are included are pretty darn cool. So in terms of first impressions, I mean, the opening mechanism is very, very satisfying. It feels way smoother than I expected it to. There is absolutely no blade play. The bits, you know, seem to have good retention. The frame lock is easy to operate. I honestly don't own any frame lock knives. I haven't used a frame lock knife in a very long time, and so I'll have to get used to that. But you know, it seems pretty solid. The you know, the protractor I think is actually going to be pretty useful because I am kind of speed squaring fairly often. And I'm a little skeptical of the ferro rod, so I'll have to test that out for real and see if that actually, you know, does what it says. I'm happy that I'll be able to actually carry a pry bar again, because it's nice to have it. I just can't justify having a standalone one. So, you know, yeah. Overall, the lightness of it is actually quite astounding. Like, yeah, it's noticeably lighter than even an EDC fixed blade, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to install the deep carry clip. I'm going to carry it for a little while. I'm going to bring it on my wilderness weekend, and I'll come back with some more, you know, review type info when I've had more time to actually use it, because I obviously can't review it until I've used it in any significant fashion. So I'm pretty excited to get this in my pocket, give it a try, and let me know if you have any questions about it in the comments. Otherwise, stay ready, get set, and go enjoy your life. Bye.